My whole game when I fought was always to try to get my opponents frustrated. And it was either through me being like cocky or me just moving around a lot or me just kind of taunting them a little bit.
It worked for Rampage, that's for sure.
It was a method behind my madness because once you get an opponent mad, you get them fighting out of their emotions. And when they fight out of their emotions, they're not calculated. They're out the game plan. So then they throw punches where they throw and they bring their hips forward, making it easier for me to take them down. And they're less calculated, so it made it easier, and it made it so that I was able to make up for whatever area I wasn't better than them. Because a lot of times I wasn't better than these guys that I would beat, but I would just had a better strategy.
Well, I mean, that's pretty humble, but I mean, at the end of the day, one person gets their hands raised, you know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, buddy, I'm not better than you, but I'm just going to go ahead and take it anyway, Yeah. When you're talking about being a fighter and you're talking about these sort of strategies and staying in your discipline, what are you looking for specifically? Like we talk about a Rampage. You never know what's real with Rampage and what's not, but you clearly got under his skin.
Yeah, well, I mean, with Rampage, I plant a seed earlier, right? Like you plant the seed with the trash talking, and then eventually when you trash talk, they're going to tell you how you can beat them, and they'll say it by really not even paying attention. Like for instance, when I was going to fight Chuck Liddell, Chuck was like, "Oh man, Rashad, if he thinks he's going to eke out another decision, then he has another thing coming." So then I knew if I moved around a lot and I really frustrated him, he would come charging. And that's what I wanted him to do. I wanted him to come charging. I wanted him to just be a little bit less calculated and just really try to rip my head off and play the counter game.
Bro, I saw that clip of you knocking him out on Instagram today. They were showing like some
they did?
Yeah, it was like in like the greatest
Christian,
UFC knockouts ever.
We have internet, don't we?
Yeah.
We can maybe pull up a clip when someone's talking about it.
Yeah, they don't like to show that one too much whenever at the UFC. They don't show that one too much when it comes on like when you're in the UFC event, they have like something that comes on right before the main event comes on. It's like a montage of all their biggest moments, and that moment is not on there.
It's not there?
No, it's not on there.
Well, Chuck is still an icon.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck listen, I absolutely love Chuck. One of the best things that's great about this sport is being able to just be cool with people that you fight with, and for some reason,
especially when you beat them.
But we all gel together, man. And
it's always extra easy when you beat them.
Yeah, it's always extra easy. It's always extra easy.
I don't know what you're talking about. He's a great guy.
No, but I'm friends with people who beat me though. Like Anthony Smith, he's a good friend of mine. He knocked me out in the first round. So, but we're good friends though. We're good friends. But Chuck was one of those guys that was just.
Oh, there it is. Oh, here. Oh, that's Rampage.
That's me and Rampage right there.
Uh-oh. Nice double leg there.
I think that's after he caught me with a uppercut or something.
We got to keep this to like 5 seconds or less before Daddy Dana pulls our copyright card.
That was probably one of my favorite seasons of The Ultimate Fighter to watch. Was when you guys were the coaches.
Oh man, that was a fun one.
That was excellent. Gerard's favorite person, Brendan Schaub, was on the show.
Oh yeah, B. Schaub was on the show. That's right. Yeah.
Brendan's a good guy. Good guy, Brendan Schaub.
Yeah, Brendan Schaub was on the show. Yeah, it was a good show, man. Me and Rampage. It was beef, man. Like
it was it legit or was it made for TV?
It was legit.
Really?
It was legit to the point where they would have to tell us, like they pulled us aside a couple times, like, guys, listen, we need to finish the show. But you guys, every single time you're around each other, all you do is fight. And we got to film this show. So they asked us to kind of cool it down a little bit, but it wouldn't take much because what happened is Rampage had like his cackling group that he was with, and anything he said, it was just so goddamn funny, you know what I'm saying? Rampage, right? So he'll say something to me, and next thing you know, I'm just like, I'm not gonna take this shit. I'm not gonna let you sit up here and raise your leg on me like I'm a fucking fire hydrant and just piss all over me whenever you want. I'm like, no, bro, we're gonna have it out. So every single time I seen him, I'm like, we can go. And one time in particular, we were out in public, and I was at a club and didn't even know he was in a club. And he jumped down out of this booth and jumped in my face and started talking shit like how we normally do. And I'm just like, are we going to get it in here? I mean, okay, I'll give a free fight. And then the security guards came and they ended up kicking me out of the club.
Get out of here.
Yeah, they kicked me out of the club.
You know why? Because you weren't in the A-team, bro.
That's exactly why. It was. That was it.
Got to get your game up, bro.
Yeah, that was it.
You could tell.
Is there still beef there?
Nah, it's been cool. Like, we did a movie together. Called Boss Level. And we played German twins.
Nice.
No shit.
The Bundesliga.
Yeah.
You could tell too that he was very used to intimidating people, and it was bothering him. He couldn't intimidate you.
Yeah,
you could tell he started getting like, what's wrong with this dude? Like,
yeah, he's like, what's wrong with this little motherfucker? He's not getting bothered by anything I'm saying.
That was a fun season. You had I think it's also cool to talk about since it's like the new Ultimate Fighters going on right now. But you guys had it was all heavyweights. You guys had Kimbo. It was like the big reveal.
Yep.
You had the
Country
winner was
Nelson?
The winner was Roy Big Country Nelson. Yeah, there you go, buddy. Yeah,
legend.
Yeah, no, he's great. Yeah, he was awesome. I'm trying to remember some of the other names, but even the guys who like didn't really.
We had Brendan Schaub. We had Justin Wren.
Yes. I love the stuff he's been doing.
Wasn't there the guy that was the football player, ended up having a good career in Bellator? Who was that? Was Mitrione? Was it Mitrione?
Mitrione. Yeah, Mitrione was on it.
Meathead was on there. We had a lot of good guys on there, man.
You had titties.
Yeah, I remember saying
I remember that shit. I remember that shit. There's a bunch of guys. You had a bunch of like football players too.
Yeah, we had.
You know, it was a great season. That's one if you guys are fight fans checking out like the new Ultimate Fighter, go check that one out. That's a great one. That was a really cool season. I grew up like watching the Ultimate Fighters and shit like that. And that was a really cool one for me.
Yeah,
one of my favorites.
Everybody says it's one of the favorites, man. And I'm just like, man, you know what? My only thing is I wish that me and Rampage would have got to fight again for a second time.
Why?
But, I don't know. It was a fun fight. It was one of those fun fights. Like the build up for it was fun. It was like one of those bigger than TV moments, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody was talking about the fights, and we did a whole like prime time show, and it was like such a big buildup because what happened was we did the reality show, and then we were supposed to fight at the end of the season, but then he was doing his A-team thing, so that fight ended up getting pushed back, and I had to fight Thiago Silva in the interim, and then I fought Thiago Silva, and then finally we got a chance to fight Rampage, and it was such a build up because it almost didn't happen. So when it did happen, everybody was still hyped up about it.
And if I remember correctly, his team tried blaming the loss on his filming schedule, that he didn't have a proper training schedule, and he didn't have he didn't have a proper camp, and that let's run it back again. That was like their whole excuse was like he wasn't able to dedicate.
I mean, hey. He had a date just like I did, but it was funny because when I finally got a chance to really sit with him when we did the movie together, it's funny what people remember out of the fight. When I had him against the cage, I was just blasting his thigh, just hitting his thigh, right? And it's a very unorthodox technique. People don't really punch the thigh. They don't really do it.
You've never had an older brother then.
Right. Charlie horses.
I beat the hell out of my sister's thighs.
The thigh's the way to go, right? The thigh's the way to go. So, I had him against Cage, not much action was saying, and Herb Dean was like, all right, let me see something. So I just start just hammering his thighs. And I noticed that he was like really reacting. So I just kept doing it. So I talked to him, and I'm just like, he said, hey, Rashad, man, tell me the truth, man. I know I had a mole in my camp, and they told you that I had something wrong with my thigh, and that's why you kept on hitting me in the thigh, man. And I was like,
stop.
No. I was like, no, I just
it was Herb Dean.
Wow. Yeah, I met Rampage a couple times. Really cool guy. Really nice guy
cool
too.
Shit, man.
So I'm happy
cool
you guys.
shit.
Yeah, it's nice knowing, especially after watching that season as like a fan. Like, there's no beef there, and you guys are.
Then the thing about it is the fact that Rampage was my favorite fighter for the longest time.
Yeah.
Like when he lost to Vanderlei Silva, I damn near cried, man. He was one of the guys
in Pride, right?
In Pride, yeah. He's one of the guys who really I wanted to be like Rampage. And then when I finally got a chance to meet him, the first chance I got a chance to meet Rampage, he was cornering against me. He was cornering against me when I fought this guy named Sick Dog Ramirez. and that was his boy, and he cornered against me. I'm like, damn, my legend.
Sick Dog Ramirez.
Sick Dog
sounds like
Ramirez.
a fighter from the movie Warrior.
Sick Dog.
Badass name. I was saying before I was gonna name my son Bone Tomahawk. My
Sick
name
Dog.
is Sick Dog.
Sick Dog.
Actually,
Sick Dog's
Mickey
pretty
has a
cool.
very similar story with George Sullivan. You talked about you had been watching him growing up as a Jersey fighter, and then you actually got a chance to end up fighting him, right?
Yeah. I remember. So I came up at AMA Fight Club in Jersey, and I remember he was like the CFFC champ. Like he was kind of like the baddest dude in Jersey at the time.
Yeah.
When I was just kind of getting into it, he'd beat guys from my camp, and then I ended up fighting him in the UFC. So it was like cool. It's cool when like that idols become rivals type thing. You know what I mean?
Cool.
Like, yeah.
So where did you train at in Jersey?
So my home gym is Gracie, New Jersey. I'd been there since I was 16, and that's like my spot. And then I started. So that's like more of like a jiu-jitsu gym. Now it's like an MMA gym as well.
Mm-hmm.
But then I would go to AMA Fight Club, which had like Jim Miller, Dan Miller, Charlie Brenneman, a bunch of tough local Jersey guys, studs there, and they'd bring in. They had guys like Khabib came through there when he first came to America, New Jersey. He was up at K Dojo. We had Jamie Varner used to be over there. You remember Adlan Amagov?
Yeah.
He used to come over there and spar and be throwing spinning back kicks like constantly at people. He was a liability to spar.
Did you ever make your way over to Brick or Tom's River?
Nick Catone's place?
Yeah, I've been down
Dante
there.
Rivera's, Nick Catone's?
That's where I would train for the longest time, man. I love that gym over there.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, it was a
good
great
guys
spot.
over there.
I love Frankie. Frankie just did our live show.
Yeah,
too.
Frankie's
He's
the best man. Frankie's the best man.
Yeah, he's another one. He's a legit Jersey legend. One of the
A
goats.
legend for real. Yeah.
What did he beat BJ Penn 3 times?
Yeah.